In today's episode, we're speaking to Elliot Kallen. Elliot is the founder and the president of Prosperity Financial Group, an industry authority in finance, and a renowned contrarian investor. With almost 10 figures in assets in management, his firm has redefined success for countless professionals, entrepreneurs, and retirees by capitalizing on opportunities during economic downturns. Prosperity Financial Group makes smart investments when masses are fearful and running for the hills of safety. The firm's trademark, if it's money, it's personal. It reflects Elliot's commitment to personalized financial solutions unique to each individual. He's also the best Amazon best-selling author in business section for his recent book, Driven. Let's speak to Elliot and find out how he changed his life by changing his mindset. And remember, if you want to upgrade your money mindset, then click on the link www.millionairefoundations.com and watch my free training. Welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert. And today I'm so excited. We're speaking to the one and only Elliot Kallen. Welcome, Elliot.
Great to be here. Thank you, Gull.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us today, Elliot. Elliot, everyone's heard your intro. They know how fabulous you are, but please, in your own words, tell everybody what it is that you do.
So I own a company. I own several companies now that two of them manage money. That's what we do. We deal with high net worth clients in a money management and portfolio world. Put the two of them together, we're just under $1 billion. And so that's a fair amount of money. And then I'm president of a charity as well.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you run a 9-figure company and you had a charity as well. Lovely. So tell us, Elliot, how did it all start for me? Were you born into wealth, or, did you have your training? How did it all start for you? And how did you end up, managing a 10-figure, sorry, a billion, 10-figure company?
Yeah, not quite there, but pretty close to it. So this is my third company that I've started,
right?
Prosperity Financial Group. We started that when I left college. I went to work for a big 8 accounting firm. That was a really short period of my life that found out I picked the wrong career, and I needed to pick myself up, and I ended up starting a packaging company.
Okay.
And then in 1987, I sold that company to people that worked for me. They wanted it. Started another company in the environmental world, sold that company, started this company, then started a second company, and then a charity. So we've started companies. I don't consider myself a serial entrepreneur, Gull, but I consider myself an entrepreneur that likes to do things. My wife said recently to me, if you were to sell your company, what would you do in retirement? And I said, I'd start a new company. It's what I do.
Yeah. I mean,
so
go ahead.
I start things. I like to build them. And I like to finish them.
Sounds great. And I really don't like the word retirement. I just don't. I really don't see the point of it. If you love what you do, then why would you ever want to stop doing it? I mean, I have various businesses myself, and yes, some of them I will not continue doing in my later years. So, but I would never call myself retiring. I can't see myself retiring at any point in time. The one thing that I'll probably do to my dying days will be something like my mentor, Bob Proctor, which is coach people to the day you die. But I don't see having a retirement age. So I'm not sure how, I think a true entrepreneur would never want to stop doing anything, because that's the whole point of it. The thrill of starting, creating, that sort of keeps you going, doesn't it? I can't imagine not ever doing that, right?
No, I think you're 100% correct on that. I would just do something different. I mean,
yeah, of course you do something different, but you don't even now, I don't think you're doing it for the money. It's just for the creation. It's the process, right?
It is. It's a lot of fun what I do. I love my life. I've created, I think, a pretty good life out of this. We can talk about that. I think at every business you age out. I think, I don't want to be a white-haired guy in the industry at 80 years old talking about finances to other white-haired people that are 80 years old. I don't want to be that person. But I think there are a lot of great things that you can do and transition in life as I have. This is a third business, like I said, very different than the other two. I'm imagining there'll be a fourth business one day. I just came out with a book. I wouldn't mind getting on tour one day and talking about leadership and talking about entrepreneurship and going around America and getting paid to do that. That would be a lot of fun. I do that a little bit now. It's hard to keep your ego in check when you're doing that, and you've got 200 people in the room who are excited and want you to sign a book for them. And I signed a person's arm the other day for the first time.
Oh, wow. You're in the true celebrity sense, right?
Right. And so it's really wonderful. And you don't need to be locked into anything anyway.
No.
Everything has its end with you, not necessarily its end by itself. And you have to know when the right time is to move on and pass the torch to the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. I think we have these cycles, and if you are a true creator, a true entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs are creators, you have that cycle. When it comes to completion, you can move on to the next thing, and it works. So talk us through, how did you left your first job and you created your first company. What prompted you to start a company? Do you come from a background with businesses, or is it something that you're a first generation business owner?
Well, I'm a first generation American. Let's start with that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my dad was a small business owner, very small business owner in the ink and solvent business. His whole company was not much bigger than the size of my little office that I'm sitting in right now, and a fraction of my large office outside of here. And he did that, but he made enough money through a couple of major inventions that he had to put my brother and sister through college and law school.
Right.
I didn't need his money for college because I had it paid for from college, but he was able to do that. And I had such an incredible relationship with my father and we talked every day about entrepreneurs and the failures and the trials, the tribulations, the challenges, the going backwards instead of forwards. And not everybody has a straight line in life, and he didn't, I didn't. And his father was an entrepreneur who lost his business in the Great Depression. So in my mind, entrepreneurship is the exciting part of life. It's creating something out of nothing. It's getting a vision and seeing it through. I took a test back when I sold my first company with a very large outplacement firm to see what I should be doing. What career should I go after? And the test results came back and said, you're not really employable because you think too much like an entrepreneur.
Well, it was a true indication, isn't it? It was right.
And I've never forgotten that.
Yeah. When I hear you, I've been what you call, academically excelled, and I was on paper, I look like the ideal client or ideal candidate for most roles because I am so academically able and I think strategically and everything. But I know for a fact, as an employee, I'm a terrible employee because I don't my heart's not in it. I remember when I was working, I wasn't happy. I was a good lawyer, but it was because I was so good at doing things. But as an employee, I was terrible. Looking back in hindsight, I wouldn't employ me because I am not employable. I think entrepreneurs who are true entrepreneurs are not employable because their mind's not in it, their heart's not in it, and you won't keep them long term anyway. So I think
great respect for people that buy a McDonald's franchise. Every burger looks the same. You can do that. I could not buy a McDonald's franchise.
Oh, same. Me too.
I can make a better hamburger.
Yeah.
So, I could see starting a restaurant that has blue cheese and mushroom hamburgers as their special product and all these things.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want every meal to be the same. I'd be bored with myself.
Yeah, 100%. So let's talk through that. And I think that's a great point to start. If you have people, it doesn't matter if they're financially successful or not, but you saw these great role models, your father and his father, who were entrepreneurs, and you are aware of the hardships that go with it. So far too many people, I believe, and we were having this discussion off camera, come into the idea and they see all this, Mark Zuckerberg, and they see Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and they see all the success they've accumulated, and and all the glamour that goes with it. They are unaware of the hardship, the blood, the sweat, the tears that goes behind that's unseen for years, sometimes years on end, before they actually, entrepreneurs, taste true success. So a lot of people come into the idea that, I want to be an entrepreneur. They want the glamour, but they don't want the hard work, the hardships that goes with it. How did you prepare yourself mentally for that hardship? Because there is no such thing as being successful as a business owner without going through the peaks and troughs of entrepreneurship. How did you mentally prepare yourself for that?
So it's an interesting question that you're asking, Gull, about how do you mentally prepare. I'm not sure you do. I think you have a lot of trial by fire here, and it tests your mental strength, your fortitude.
100%.
And of course, your aptitude is always being tested. So you're going to get beaten on. I got beaten on. There are always cash flow problems. There are employee problems. There are employee lawsuits. There are so many things that even if you did everything right, you're going to have problems with them. It's just the way life is. not everybody sees it the way you do it. You see it. And I think that's just part of it. And you get tested, and your mettle, so to speak, we're testing your mettle. That's a US phrase. But if you want to see what your level of fortitude is can you power through this and grow and get better because you're being tested? And I think every entrepreneur who has had some level of success, and I think I'm going to put myself in that camp, I think that you look at what's gone wrong. You don't consider them failures. You consider them painful learning lessons, because entrepreneurs never fail. They just painfully learn.
And they do learn painfully. Oh, the pain.
And you want to get better at, for instance, cash flow. You cannot grow your business effectively without running into some cash flow problems. You cannot hire 30 or 50 or 150 new employees without having employee problems.
Yeah.
You can't say, I want to save for retirement without saying, how do I fund everybody else's retirement at the same time?
Yeah.
And where does that money come from? So you're just going to have these challenges. If you don't want to rise to these challenges, then you get a job. Yeah. And then you have other problems with your boss and a hierarchy, and decisions maybe being made in a different city or different country about your future. Or you get more control of it and you say, I'm willing to accept the pain. But what's the downside of this? And if you talk to entrepreneurs, Gull, and I know you do on a regular basis, because your show is fantastic, dealing with current and future entrepreneurs, and they will tell you the same thing. Their sleep pattern is terrible. I had dinner last night with a company, and they were telling me about that they brought a sleep expert in to talk to 150 entrepreneurs. And he said, Elliot, let me give you the test real fast on sleep. There are 5 key things you have to do to sleep effectively. And I failed all 5.
I probably will fail all 5 as well, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, I don't sleep enough. I try, and I don't.
No, my thing is, can you pack a 30-hour workday into 10 hours every day? Can you do that? And that means that at 3 in the morning and 2 in the morning, you're thinking about the day that you just had and the day that's coming up, and the problems that's still there that hasn't gone away that you have to deal with. Yeah. And it's painful, because if it's personnel, it's really painful, and you've got to face up to this. And so it's amazing. So I can't tell you how many times I'm up from 2 to 4 in the morning, and I get up anyway 4:45 to go to the gym. That there's a lack of sleep, and that's what entrepreneurs face on a regular basis, is how do I get my life balanced and in a world that's always out of balance?
100%. I think you've hit the nail on the head. And there's this word has become a buzzword, work-life balance. I think as an entrepreneur, you really have to, you can work at it, but I don't know how many entrepreneurs are able to balance that out. I know that for me, I always blame the fact that, I'm a single parent and I never want to sacrifice my children. So it's either I'm either focusing on my work or my children. And I work around my children. I fit it around my kids' lifestyles, their schooling, their reports, their whatever. But I think that's still an excuse. I think because I am an entrepreneur, if my kids now, as they get older and they become independent, more and more of my time is dedicated to thinking about businesses. I had 1 business, then it became 2 and 3 and 4. And now I'm it's becoming a bit of a complex web. But having said that, that's where my interest is. That's where my passion is. That's who I am, and that's why I enjoy those tasks. Nobody tells me to do certain things. I do it because that's fun. Nobody told me to buy this additional business. I do it because it's fun, or I enjoy doing it, or I want to do it. So I think and entrepreneurs like that additional challenge, and they thrive on it. So what would you say to that? Entrepreneurs love that challenge.
Well, you've done a great thing, and we do love challenges. We rise to challenges. Yeah. In college, I was the kid that if you gave me 3 months to do a term paper, I did it the last week. If you gave me 1 week to do it, I did it the last night and got it all done, even if it was an all-nighter. We just get it done. We love deadlines, and don't put that deadline too far out in advance, because that's part of the challenge. But if you're doing, in a way you described it, Gull, something that you love to do, then it's you don't view it as work as much. And then mentally, and that's a big thing for us, we are very much state of mind people. We have huge high lows, and I don't mean like bipolar high lows, but sometimes you're just feeling really sad that it's not working the way you should be going, or that you have to face this hard truth in your office and it's going to be ugly, and I have to fire somebody or let some people go. Or
I think that's the biggest I find in my life. cash flow issues and business issues, I see them as puzzles, and you can find a way out. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. I find the most challenging is dealing with personnel. So when I have conflict or I don't think someone's in the right place, that is the most challenging of actually, and I go to extra lengths to not remove people, but obviously you have to at certain times. But I think I find that to be the most challenging, dealing with people and personnel.
Every entrepreneur does. It's the hardest side of the business.
Yeah.
Outside of managing cash flow.
Yeah.
It is, people are tough. And if you go in with the attitude, and I know you don't, but if you go in with the attitude that I'm going to find people that have the same drive as me and the same vision, the same goals as me, you're going to be woefully disappointed. You have to find people that you can take the best out of them.
Yeah.
And that they're bringing something to the table that you can also use. Because most people, I mean, I had a complaint from my staff the other day. They said, the problem with you, Elliot, in a nice way, they were kidding around, is that you have a workaholic mentality. And I said, well, my dad, who was a Depression era child and World War II happened, and he used to say to me, you cannot make up for hard work. You can't make up for it.
Yeah, I follow the same philosophy. You can't. There's no substitute for perseverance and hard work. There isn't. Yes, you can work smart rather than actually, work like a donkey, but you still have to do the work. 100%.
So if you keep that in mind, and I have this little voice in my ear. I have two voices in my ear. This is my schizophrenic side of me. The first voice is my dad's voice, says you can't make up for hard work. And it also always says, and never forget to take care of your family first. Yes. That's my dad's voice. Yeah. As you're doing with your kids, and my children are now adults and are some grandchildren. And the other voice is my mother's voice that says that you can do better. You can do better. Whatever you did on Tuesday, you can do better on Wednesday or on Thursday. And so those two voices give me the drive to come to work every day and perform at a higher peak and make sure I'm doing it right. And then when you're taking care of your family, which is always out of balance, by the way, as you're learning, and most entrepreneurs learn, you cannot be a great father, great parent, a great business owner, and a great spouse at the same time.
No, it has timings, as I've noticed.
And so I'm also on my second marriage, and so I was divorced in there. And so you have to work every day at getting that back in balance, knowing and accepting that you're always going to be out of balance a little bit. And if you keep that in mind, then you're going to know how to prioritize. When you need to be with your kids, you're really with your kids. When you need to be with grandchildren, you're really with your grandchildren. And when you need to be married and with your spouse, you're with your spouse. But when you're in work, and you are 100% here, because you know that if you're not, you're going to be out of whack. So if you can keep that in balance and work on it every day as an entrepreneur and accept the fact that you're out of balance, instead of being frustrated or getting counseling or hiring a consultant because you don't know how to stay in balance, if you can accept that and work every day at being in balance, you're going to really succeed as an entrepreneur.
As you're saying this, I'm thinking about my own life, and I completely agree. There was a time in my life when I actually gave up, and I took a break from, I'm a lawyer, my background is a lawyer. I gave up my career because I wanted to have, when we were having a family, and my daughter came along, and I went from being instantly, this is a female thing, and I probably, this is completely against the woke agenda. I really do believe that, as females, we have certain instincts and certain desires and certain drives. As soon as I knew I was pregnant with my daughter, I became a mom. She came 9 months later, but I became a mother as soon as I was pregnant with my daughter. And my drive changed, my goals changed, my things changed. And then for various circumstances, ended up being that I ended up becoming a stay-at-home mom. That time when I was focusing on their diapers, their activities, their homework, that was a complete different side of me. But it worked. I worked bloody hard for that. It was hard work. But my kids were number one priority, and it was mommy's all about food and clothing and being the chauffeur to X, Y, and Z. And then the time in life changed when I went back into the workspace and ended up becoming an entrepreneur, having a business. And slowly, first of all, there was a balance. And now slowly, as my children are getting older, mummy from the kitchen has come out, and mummy is more in the world of the business and working on multiple businesses. So it's the same me, but you're right. The balance is different. It went from being one extreme. It hasn't gone to the other extreme because I'm still working around my kids because they're still 12 and 16. But I can see when both are at university, mom isn't required for being on the phone call to support them every now and again. Then my focus will totally be on my business. But then that has to be, it will be that requirement in that time and age. And at the moment, I'm having some kind of balance between being a mommy and being an entrepreneur. But you do need to recognize you will have to sacrifice something at some stage. And I've always said, I'll sacrifice the work because that can come later. My time with my children will not. And they need to see their mother, and their mother has to be present. So I've touched wood, my kids have always, as soon as I come home, there's mom's always there. And I've always been at anything for my children. I'm always there.
Well, you're doing the right thing, Gull. You're really doing a great thing. I mean, they're at critical ages now when, with the pressure that they're feeling at school and friends, and now stress, anxiety is at an all-time high, and they're in a generation where those horrible things of stress, depression, even suicide are at all-time highs. You need to be very present for that. But I'm going to tell you, when they go to college, because I've experienced that, it doesn't go away. My mother used to have this great phrase. She said, little kids have little problems. Big kids have big problems. That. Medium kids have medium problems. Big kids have really big problems, and they're all very expensive.
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't hear about the expensive part, but I heard about the problem part. Yeah, for sure. I've heard that before.
But you're going to deal with that, and it doesn't go away. I talk to my kids, who are the 30-year-old twins now. I talk to them, my daughter, almost every day, who's got a child now and pregnant again, and my son, who's way more independent. And I talk to him maybe twice a week because he won't take my calls the other days because I'm bugging him. But I talk about real life stuff. How you doing with this? How's this going? And he knows, my son, who talks to me less than my daughter, I'm right there, concerned about him, worried about him. How can I help? How can I be my children's greatest cheerleader?
Yeah.
All the time, and to make sure that they're mentally healthy.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So let's talk about people who are listening to this and think, okay, Elliot, you've been very lucky. And you were able to do this. I don't, I've tried business before, I've tried entrepreneurship before, but it's, I've been knocked down and it's not for me, and people are crooks. Because I hear this a lot, by the way, there's a dog eat dog world out there, and you can't trust people. I don't really find that to be the case. I think there are all sorts of people in the world, and you can attract the right sort of people. Yes, you'll probably attract the wrong ones as well, but you can easily let them go. And if you expect good from people, a lot of the times you attract people who are good. But so how would you respond to this individual? Say, well, you're lucky, you managed to succeed. I put all my hard work and effort into it, and I still didn't get anywhere.
Look, you can come up with all types of definitions of luck. Preparedness meets opportunity, and so forth. Yeah. They've got these all in all these seminars on that. He's not wrong. There is an element of luck in success, no matter who you are. If you're at the corporate level, you're at the right place at the right time to get that job opportunity.
Yeah.
If you're at entrepreneurial level, you have to pick the right opportunity in the right place, and some things have to fall into place for you.
Yeah.
If you do the hard work and you've got a vision and you write this out how you want to succeed, then a lot of good things will fall in place, and a little bit of luck won't hurt. It is true. Some people have no luck. Some people have all the luck. I've got a friend of mine, super successful. He's pushing on his own world. He's pushing maybe $750 million of net worth himself. That we grew up, and neither one of us grew up with money. I was high school quarterback. He was the running back. I mean, we were just happy to go out and play. But he would admit that 1/3 of his success is just pure luck, being at the right time, at the right place, and meeting the right people. And then he did the best with that he could.
Yeah.
So he didn't just wave it goodbye as it passed by him. He did a lot with it. Every person who has success in their life has an element of luck in that life. But I don't want to say that every person who doesn't have success has no luck, because you still have to find the right opportunity and then exploit in the right way that opportunity. And then with a little bit of hope and luck and a lot of band-aids and a lot of hard work, you can make things work. But you're going to need perseverance and fortitude and courage. And you're going to have to be willing to get a bloody nose every single day of your life while you're trying to grow your business, and get back up the next day and get another bloody nose. Yeah. Because that's what it takes to grow.
And I think this is so important for people to hear. It's not an easy ride. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. It has its rewards, but everything comes at a price, and everything has, there's no such thing as a free lunch, as I say. You have to put the work in, and you have to persevere through. I think that what I'm hearing from you is what I've experienced in my life over the last few years as well, is you are going to have the highs are really high, the lows are really low, and you have to be able to run a balance. So when it's really high, you have to keep yourself grounded and not to get overly complacent and confident. At the same time, when things are really, really low, you cannot go into depression. You have to just pick yourself up and just sometimes take one day at a time. But you have to get through those hard days in order to expect better days coming, and better days will come. You just have to carry on going, and you have to persevere through. This is the point that I think I'm hearing from you, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. You have to carry on going. You cannot let a failure or you perceived failure to hold you back. Failure in my book is a failure when you stop trying. If you don't stop trying, it's just a very expensive lesson, and you carry on going. And that's
you need a home life goal that is going to be supportive of you.
Yes.
Occasionally getting a bloody nose rather than a finger pointing saying, I told you so. You shouldn't.
100%. I think a supportive partner can make or break you, for sure. And I think in that regard, I could be, my experiences, I could be wrong. I think it's easier for men to find a supportive partner than it is a woman. I think women entrepreneurs, if they do have supportive partners, that's fantastic and brilliant, because there are amazing men out there who will support their wives. But I think it's usually, if it's female entrepreneur, it's usually the fact that she's either single or she's divorced because of various other reasons. It's very difficult to get that kind of support that you need from your partner. It's out there, but it's few and far for women. But men, I think there's more chance of getting a supportive partner. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you could be right. I don't know the statistics on that. I do know. I went to a seminar years and years ago. The Anthony Robbins type of seminar. It wasn't his, and there were about 400 people in a Marriott ballroom, and it was an entrepreneur type seminar, because I've been to many of those in my life. And the host stood up and he said, "How many of you are entrepreneurs?" And everybody's hand went up. "And how many of you have a spouse that doesn't really support you as being an entrepreneur?" And there were hands that went up. And he said something. He said, I'm going to tell you something very controversial. If you're with somebody and you want to be an entrepreneur and they don't want to support you, and you don't come to an agreement, you're not going to be married.
100%.
Because it's too big of a drive.
Yeah. 100%. Agree on that. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up. We have to have you back, Elliot, for Money Talkies, because this is a fascinating conversation. We can carry on. But for now, let's wrap this up. So tell us, Elliot, how can we find you? Where can we connect with you on the internet?
Great. The website is prosperityfinancialgroup.com. And my email address is Elliot, ELLIOT, @prosperityfinancialgroup.com.
Wonderful. So if you're listening to us on the podcast, the link that Elliot has just mentioned will be in the show notes. And if you're watching on YouTube, then down below in the description section, we'll have the links for Elliot too. Go check him out and see how he can help you and see how he can support you in your business. Well, thank you so much for coming today, Elliot. It's been a fascinating conversation, and we'll have you back on Money Talkies. But for today, thank you so much.
Great being here, Gull. Thank you.
And thank you for listening to me and Elliot today on Friday Feature. I will be back with another amazing guest, finding out how they changed their life by changing their mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.